Birth is a beginning, and death a destination, and life is a journey, a sacred pilgrimage to love everlasting.
This is the realm of the mystery. And I tell you, when I work with dying people, so many times the dying person manifests to me something of the sense of mystery. I don't see this as a problem or something to cure, but something to really experience in such a way that it can enlarge a person, it can make a person more authentic, more real.
You are about to embark on an extraordinary journey into the mystery of death and its relationship to life. It begins here with the Reverend Dr. Mitsuo Aoki, a semi-retired theologian, minister, college professor, and founder of the University of Hawaii's Department of Religion. Mitz, as he is affectionately called, has dedicated the better part of his adult life to the study of death and dying. He has helped thousands of terminally ill people face and ultimately embrace their final journey in life.
So we'll get started. Thank you again for joining us. Tisha Aragaki is Ulu Ulu's reference and outreach archivist. She is also a board member of the Hawaii Council for Humanities. And so Tisha will just start us off with a little bit of housekeeping, logistics, as well as a small welcome from Hawaii Council for Humanities. So Tisha, take it away.
Thank you, Janelle. So hi, everyone. Welcome to our program, Revealing the Works of the Cosmic Dancer through Digitization of the Mitsuo Aoki Collection.
Dr. Don person in San Antonio.
So as Janelle mentioned, I
Join the meeting.
Tisha. I am the Reference and Outreach Archivist here at Ulu Ulu Moving Image Archive. I am also one of the members of the Board of Directors for the Hawaii Council for the Humanities. So just wanted to make sure of a few things before we get started. First, we want to, of course, thank the Hawaii Council for the Humanities and the Mitsuo Aoki Foundation for their support, without which this project would not be possible to have completed. And next, I want to remind everyone that we will be having a few minutes at the end of the program for Q&A. So if you have any questions, please do hold on to them until we open up the Q&A section. If you do want to, you can go ahead and type it into the chat box that should be on the right hand of your screen, and I'll collect them and I will be the moderator for the Q&A portion at the end. And finally, I want to thank everybody involved and thank you guys for joining us. This is what we do this for, to be able to bring this to the public. And so we hope that this is a fun and interesting introduction for you guys. And thank you so much again for taking the time in the middle of the day during lunchtime to learn what we do. So please, thank you again and enjoy the presentation.
Thank you, Tisha. Now, Alan Gamble, who is the president of the Mitsuo Aoki Legacy Foundation, would like to say a few words of welcome. Alan, I will start sharing my screen with your slides, and then you can go ahead and start your presentation.
Great. Thank you very much, Janelle. Hello, everybody. And I'd like to also welcome you on behalf of the Mitsuo Aoki Legacy Foundation. Thank you so much for being here and again, taking time out from your day to learn about Mitz and his legacy. We know that there are family and friends and others who maybe have not met Mitz yet here on our presentation today. And we are hoping that you'll go into the archives and learn more. And we're so excited to be able to bring these to you. And when Mitz passed away, he had requested that his legacy continue and that we would move forward with sharing his work with you all. So what I'd like to do is, if you can switch slides, tell you a little bit about the background of what it is that brought us here today. And you can tell Mitz is all happy, and so are we, you know, that this is happening. It's a long time in coming. When he died, he left behind a lot of his written works and also videos There were videos that were left with the PBS, with the Public Broadcasting Station of Hawaii, which were donated to us at the Mitsuoki Legacy Foundation. We weren't quite sure what to do with these, so next slide, please. We met these two nice young ladies, Heather Juni and Janelle Kirante. And they were with Ulu Ulu, the Henry Kuuloa Juni Moving Image Archive at the University of Hawaii, West Oahu. They were so gracious to accept our videos into their archive and to create a Mitsuoki collection. If you can go to the next slide. This is Janelle and I donating slides there to the collection. Next slide, please. There were over 240 videos that were donated to the collection, and they were archived there in the vault there, and they began working on digitizing the collection some time ago. Next slide, please. The emphasis right now of the digitization is around the raw footage of the collection based on the Living or Dying video. And there are other videos that are also part of the collection, which will be digitized at a later time. Next slide, please. For those of you who don't know about the Living or Dying video, it really covers primarily. And as you saw in my previous slide, Mike Thompson, Faye Myers, and Ulani Mendiola were interviewed by us and were followed throughout their journey. And next slide, please. This is our board. So on our board, we have myself, Clarence Liu, and Sophie Ann Aoki, who is also Mitz's daughter. Next slide, please. We didn't really know what to do with all of his written works, and we had boxes and boxes and boxes of these. And we fortunately were able to meet this amazing lady, Helen Wong Smith, who was the archivist at UH Manoa University Records Archives. She welcomed our work, the work of Mitz, into the archive, and has spent an amazing amount of time and hours to be able to see that this collection is available for you. Next slide, please. This is us donating boxes. We actually donated 15 boxes of material to the archive there at UH Manoa Library, where it has now been archived and is available. And you'll hear about this more from Helen later. Next slide, please. The written works actually cover Mitz's religion talks, his religion classes, the community sermons and trainings that he gave throughout the community and the world through the Young Presidents organization. These notes, I want you to know, are his personal notes. He never really wrote a book or published anything on his own. And these are all handwritten notes or, done on his manual typewriter. And so you'll see in the collection, lots of typos. Mitz didn't have, spell check on a computer. So you'll notice that these are, again, all his personal notes just to be meant to given orally in his presentations. Next slide, please. We're so grateful that funding became available through the Hawaii Council for the Humanities and National Endowment for the Humanities. We are so, so grateful. The matching funds grant also provided the opportunity for us through the Mitsuoki Legacy Foundation to also donate funds, as well as there were in-kind contributions through the UH and all of the work and many hours that they provided. Next, please. Again, this is our board, and Janelle and Helen. We'd like to just thank you again for being here. And on behalf of the University of Hawaii University Records Archive, Ulu Ulu, the Henry Kulo Juni Moving Image Archive, and our foundation, we'd like to welcome you to this presentation. Ready to go on, Janelle.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you. I am still sharing my screen, but we'll move into a pre-recorded video presentation from Helen Baroni, who is with the Department of Religion at UH Manoa.
Aloha. My name is Helen Baroni, and I'm a religion professor here at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. I was asked to say a few words today about Mitsuo Aoki's unique contribution to the humanities. I first met Mitz in the fall of 1993 when I was a newly hired faculty member in the department that he had founded. By that time, Mitz had already retired, but he was still regularly teaching his death and dying class. He made it a point to reach out to me and to help me get oriented to the department's culture and to share with me some of his philosophy regarding the curriculum that I would be teaching. I remain grateful to him for his words of encouragement. In preparing for today, I did some research into the history of the religion department at UHM and want to contextualize its founding as one of Mitz's broadest contributions to the humanities here in Hawaii. In 1956, when Mitz started teaching religion at the university, only a handful of state departments of state universities offered courses in the academic study of religion. I was able to find only 3 flagship state universities that had established religion departments before Mitz started ours. Most state-funded universities shied away from teaching religion until a decade later, after the Supreme Court of the United States clarified in the case of Abington Township versus Shemp in 1963, that the study of the Bible and of religion, when presented objectively as part of a secular program of education, was permissible under the First Amendment's Establishment Clause. In the late 1960s, several other state universities then established departments of religion and began offering courses. By that time, under Mitz's guidance, he and his early colleagues had been offering a full array of academic courses in the study of religion for more than a decade. He sought out and hired faculty with expertise in the religions of Asia long before that became the norm in the 1980s and the 1990s. I think we should celebrate Mitz's forward thinking in this critical area in the study of the human experience. His vision for the structure of the department in terms of its breadth, the breadth of its curriculum, and the wide diversity in the academic areas of expertise of its faculty continues to make our small department competitively diverse among all of our peer institutions. Professor Fritz Seifert, the first scholar that Mitz hired back in 1961, recalls that before he himself arrived, Mitz was single-handedly created all of the curriculum for the undergraduate major in religion and was by himself teaching all 12 of the course offerings. As many of you probably know, Mitz's classes became so popular that in the 1960s and 1970s, the university scheduled them to be held at the old Varsity Theater that used to stand on University Avenue. Mitz's most popular classes included an introductory course on religion and the meaning of existence, as well as his deeply affecting death and dying class, which actually continues to be taught by one of my colleagues today, and it remains quite popular among our students, particularly those in the health sciences and in social work. I'd like to highlight one other course that Mitz created, the Introduction to World Religions, that I believe represents another enduring contribution to the humanities that Mitz made here in Hawaii. one which continues to impact our undergraduate students at Manoa and throughout the University of Hawaii system. Mitt spoke to me personally about why he created the World Religions course during my first semester here at UHM, when I was teaching it for the first time in 1993. Our conversation started in the copy room, as it usually did, when he saw my teaching materials and asked me how the course was going. I let him know that although I had been trained in my doctoral program to teach the course in world religions, I nevertheless found it quite challenging. I have to say that virtually everyone we hire finds the class the most difficult to teach because of the very breadth of its subject matter. Mitz explained to me that he originally started teaching world religions as a way to promote greater tolerance in society for individuals, especially for individuals from different religious traditions than our own. He reasoned that if Hawaii's culture is in general more tolerant of difference, precisely because our neighbors, the people we go to school with, the people we work with, those we befriend, are so diverse themselves. Well, he believed that promoting an academic understanding of religious differences and similarities would lay a firm foundation for better understanding and mutual respect between people in society. Several colleagues and I still regularly teach world religions here at Manoa. I'm teaching it this semester, as do colleagues at virtually every community college throughout the islands. It remains the most popular introductory course in religion. Mitz reached thousands of students during his teaching career, and his legacy of respectfully teaching the religions of various world cultures continues to impact thousands more students each year through the core curriculum that he initiated more than 50 years ago. Thank you very much for your attention.
And now we'll hear from Helen Wong Smith, who will talk about the digitized papers in the Mitsuo Aoki papers collection at UH Manoa Libraries. Go ahead, Helen.
Mahalo, mahalo. I want to thank the foundation because although we can write grants to the cows come home, unless we have somebody with matching funds, it doesn't go very far. So my greatest appreciation. So I'm going to show you several ways to access the digitized records, papers of MITS, and that is going to be available. It's available online. Everything has been prepared for you. And so one would start here at the UH Manoa Library and select research and collections. And fortunately, the archives is the first thing to pop up. When you get to the homepage, scroll down to this little link here, which is the UH Manoa Catalog for Archival Records materials. So you don't have to worry about case sensitivity. You can simply type in any part of Mitt's name. And don't get scared. You see 89 records. That's just all the records that have his name. But the very first one is the collection itself. So here the collection overview provides you the dates of the collection. It covers everything from 59 to 2009. The extent is a little over 5 feet. And then if you expand all, you'll see things like his biography, and then somebody who's just doing a random search on dying or hospice care will be led to this LibGuide. So that's another nice thing to have. And then if you are to click on collection organization, you can see on the right-hand side that these series, this collection has been divided into 3 series: courses, community engagements, research, and publications. And then from here, you can either expand this by clicking on the arrow, or you can go straight to container inventory. And I like going back to collection. I like going this way because it gives you the title of every single folder in that particular series. So as you see here, here's his lecture notes for religion 151, and it would change different, it would change numbers sometimes, you know, be 50 or 157, but you select on any one of those folders and it'll take you to this record. And when you see the little red icon here, you select it and you will go to the digital guide, and here it is. Everything that is in that particular folder will come up. And so here's all his typescript notes that Alan mentioned. And so this one is, let's see if I can see how many. Yes, so this particular folder has 255 pages in it. So you can see all of his notes, and many times there will be photocopies of things that he felt was important to help him develop the course. And I'm trying to find some handwriting here for you. But what I think is interesting is a lot of times there are tests and so on. So that's kind of a nice thing to see as well. Let me show you another one under his community engagements. So here we have, I don't know how many people recall, Mitsuo Aoki talks. There were, I have a little bit of abstract here. There's speeches, there's and notes regarding 18 different talks and that he delivered to the Young Presidents Organization. And then things like talks to the Kamiki senior citizens and so on. And then I added a few of the topics that he included. So here again, by selecting the red icon, you will go to the folder and then you will see all his notes and what he decided to change at the last minute. So these have been digitized to a resolution that you should pretty much be able to zoom in and figure out what he was saying or writing. And here it shows that even Mitz loved John Lennon. So here we go. So this is one way of getting to the collection. Another way, which I'm going to show you, if we go back to the home page. Okay, let's go back. Let's see if it, no, it's not gonna go there. Here we go. So if you were going back to the library homepage, again, by going to research, and this time, instead of collections, scroll down to scholarly communications, which is evolves. And his collection is actually a community. It's called a community. And you can see that even though I'm not spelling out his entire name, it does come up because it captures it. So here again are the different series. It's not arranged quite the same way. However, you can see, you can select again the folder name, and then that particular digitized content will come up for you. So another thing I want to point out is that you don't have to search through every single folder to see what you want. So what you can do is search within this. Let me go back again and type in MITS. You can also navigate to the top level, which is here. Search within this particular community. So if you were to type in Buddhism, then only those folders that cover Buddhism or have it occur somewhere will come up. So you have everything from folders labeled Buddhism, but you also have the contents. It occurs in the contents of that particular folder. And there you go. Then you can always do a control find and take a look for that particular word. There we go. So it's a very nice way to do that. And I should have pointed out that in the, let me start off again to our archival catalog to show you that you can do such word searches as well within here. So there we go. And then you're going to search this particular collection. And this will tell you that, okay, this one is just picking up the word itself. So if you want to do a more in-depth search, you'll go to the evolves. But this is also another way of getting directly to like materials or the materials that you want. So this is how we select or search and view the records that have been digitized. And although Alan did say he delivered some 15 boxes, when we go through the process of organizing, arranging, and describing the collection, we often, well, we rehouse them and put them in acid-free material, and it would be also all metals have been removed, or we rehouse them, and so it does bring it down. And then we get rid of duplicates. There are a lot of duplicates. However, many times he would have, especially for his courses, there would be duplicates throughout the decades. So if he was doing 151, you may have some of the same resources or same tests that he had in 1967, and it occurs again in 1982. I kept them both. I kept the integrity of each folder. So that's all available in there. So I will entertain questions after Janelle's talk. Okay, mahalo.
Thank you, Helen. Thank you. So I will go ahead and share my screen one more time. You guys are going to get tired of looking at my desktop. But 1 second. Okay, so again, my name is Janelle, and I am the head archivist at Ulu Moving Image Archive at the University of Hawaii, West Oahu. And I first just wanted to say that I loved working on this project. I love being able to collaborate across different archives so that researchers have a chance to be able to find a wider collection, see the connections across the different repositories across our state. So thank you to Hawaii Council for Humanities, and thank you Mitsuo Aoki Legacy Foundation for supporting this project and letting me work with Helen Wong Smith. I always love working with Helen. So what Ulu does, just in case you don't know who we are the official state archive for moving images. And what that means is that we collect archival videotapes and films related to the history and culture of Hawaii. And our mission is to perpetuate and share the rich moving image heritage of Hawaii through the preservation of film and videotape related to the history and culture of Native Hawaiians and the people of Hawaii. And so when we first started working with Alan Gamble and the rest of the Mitsuo Aoki Legacy Foundation Board to bring in the videotape collection and to start preserving it, we immediately knew that this fit our collection scope so well, and that it would be a definite, complement to other collection materials in our care. And as part of this digitizing and preservation and access project, what we were able to accomplish during this time was to digitize 199 videotapes, which ended up being about 78 hours of footage, 7.95 terabytes of preservation files. And so far, we've been able to fully describe and catalog 30 titles and make that information available online through our website. The cataloging work is ongoing, so keep checking back in. We'll be adding more and more as time goes on. This is an image, just an example of what we received as part of the videotape collection. And most of these tapes were original camera recordings of interviews and other footage that was used for the documentary Living You're Dying. And as you can see here, these are all Betacam SP tapes. At the time, this was industry standard. This was high-end technology. But today, you know, one of the challenges of audiovisual preservation is that people don't necessarily have the equipment or the decks to play back these tapes anymore. I always ask visitors and students to the archive who still has a VHS deck at home. And especially the undergrads always give me a blank stare. They have no idea what VHS is. But anyways, one of the main ways that we can preserve these analog videotapes and make them accessible is through digitization. And so that's what we did with this project. Once the videotapes are digitized, at that point, we can share them, make the digital files available through our website and through our streaming server. I'll go into our website in a little bit, but I just wanted to highlight what we've been able to put online so far. We've created a project webpage, which is kind of a summary of the work that we did as part of this preservation and access grant. And we also have a collection page for the Mitsuo Aoki collection. And so when you visit our website, you'll be able to see the short video clips as well as read summary descriptions about each of the videos that we were able to digitize. And in general, as you search our website or do research through us, the process is very simple. You saw Tisha earlier in our presentation, our reference archivist. She'll come back for the Q&A. But basically, when you do research through Ulu Ulu with the Mitsuoki collection or with any other collection, you will be able to search our website, select titles to watch, watch short clips, register with us as a researcher. And once people are registered with us as a researcher, we can be able to provide you access to watch full-length footage from our collection. So what I'll do now is just go into our website. And let's see here. So our website is uluulu.hawaii.edu. And what you'll see on our webpage and at the top of every page on our website is a search bar where you can do basic searches, but I'll just highlight what we did specifically for the Mitsuo Aoki collection. So we created a project webpage, which, as I mentioned before, gives a summary of the project and the work that we completed as part of this preservation and access grant. We've also, with the permission of the Aoki Legacy Foundation, you can watch the full documentary of Living You're Dying, the 60-minute documentary that was originally broadcast on PBS Hawaii can be viewed streaming through our website. Also online, well, through this project webpage, we've got links back to the foundation, back to the papers that Helen was describing, back to the UH Manoa LibGuide, as well as a direct link to the Mitsuo Aoki videotape collection on Ulu Ulu's website. And so what you'll see here is thumbnails. If an item has been digitized and described, we provide a short clip here. Clicking on any of these items you'll be able to read a short description of what the footage contains, as well as be able to view a short clip. I'll just play back a little bit so that you can see what it looks like. The short clips are usually 5 minutes or less, and it's just a preview
Yes, I think
of the
about
full
the
footage.
imagery of God and nature and his perfection in nature. I think of the Olapa tree.
Olapa.
The Olapa tree, which is a tree in Hawaii, that when you look at it, it has a round, kind of oblongish leaves. In the Olapa and Hula tradition, one is said to be like the Olapa tree if one is the dancer. When you look at the Olapa tree as it grows in the mountains, when the wind comes by and it shimmers the tree.
Yes.
And so it allows you to see a short preview of what the full-length footage looks like. What I really like about this collection is that the documentary Living Your Dying was 60 minutes long. However, close to 80 hours of footage was recorded with the different patients that Mitz was working with. And so all of that footage that didn't make it into the final documentary can now be viewed through our website. As a researcher, when people go to our site and would like to request, so if someone wanted to see this full session with Ulu, you can just click on this button, which is at the bottom of every page of our website called Ask an Archivist. And it brings up this submission form. And so you can just type in your name, your contact email, as well as the question. So your question could be, I would like to view the full length footage of the interview with Ulu Mendiola. Once you submit it, it sends an email to our staff, and we try to respond within 24 hours to get you registered as a researcher, as well as provide links to the full length footage. Just really quickly, I know our time is getting a little bit short. Also at the top of every page is a search bar. So if you wanted, if you forget anything else that I just said today, if you find our search bar and you type in Mitsuo Aoki and hit search, it'll bring up every title, every clip, as well as the collection page that contains his name. And so that's just a quick way to jump and find videos in our collection that is related to Mitsuo Aoki. Oh, and that was it. Thank you very much. My email information is here, karante@hawaii.edu. Our website again is uluulu.hawaii.edu. So after today's session, if you have some additional questions or want to know more about the videotape collection at Uluulu, feel free to contact us. Thank you.
Okay, so really quickly before we jump into the question and answer section, Helen is going to share the LibGuide. And then after she's done with sharing the LibGuide, we'll get to any questions that anyone has.
Mahalo. I don't know why I didn't remember this. So this is, they call it research guides. And so that you don't have to remember everything that Janelle and I provided to you today. You can just search on Mitsuo Aoki and you will come up to the LibGuide for the Mitsuo Aoki digital collection. So this will include both mine and Uluulu's links. So here we have a little bit of telling about the project, digitizing the works of Mitsuo Aoki. Here is a tutorial, a video tutorial, taking you to, here we go, how to get to what I just covered here today. And then here's directly to the link to the catalog that I showed you earlier. So you don't have to navigate through all those archives department records. And then on the second page, we have a lovely biography written by Alan Gamble. And I have some of the pictures that you saw regarding MITS. And then here I have just a few, and it's always being populated, but here's a few of the items that have been digitized. And to give you more insight to MITS, I included all the letters of support that went toward this particular grant, because in them, so much knowledge it can be gained. So again, this is a research or a LibGuide, and you can just go straight to it. And from here, underneath here, you'll find another link to what Janelle shared with you. So that's it.
Thank you, Helen. Okay, so now we have our question and answer section. So we have about, looks like maybe about 10 minutes. If anybody has any questions, you can go ahead and either type it into the chat box, or if anyone wants to, you can raise your hand or unmute and I will unmute you. But I guess while we're waiting, I did have a couple of questions that came in through the chat earlier. The first one, of course, was what was the URL to get to the archives? And Helen answered that, and we can go ahead and put that in the chat box again for people. So here is the link if anybody wants to go to take a look at what the collection is online. And then the second one that I saw in the chat box earlier was, are there any videos of his talks or his lectures? So I don't know if anyone on the panel has an answer to that, but you can go ahead and answer.
So I can start. At Ulu Ulu, the videotapes that we have currently digitized were all related to the production materials from the documentary Living You're Dying. However, you might have remembered seeing one of the pictures in Alan's slideshow that had a box of videotapes, which do include, I believe, Alan, correct me if I'm wrong, lectures, workshops, classes, and that will be the second phase of the preservation and digitization work that Ulu Ulu does on this collection. So recordings do exist. They have not yet been digitized, but hopefully soon, and we'll be able to make those available the same way that we have with the footage from the documentary.
Okay, so I have both from Shantini and from Hob Osterland, fabulous work, and congratulations to everybody on accomplishing such a huge task and making MIT's work immortal. I do have a question that I can answer here, and this one's from Andrea Wagner. So it says, can anyone register as a researcher to view videos? And the answer is absolutely. So when you go to the Ulu Ulu website, you can just send us an email through the form that Janelle showed you, and I'll be the one to answer you, and I'll send you the registration form, and we can get you started watching videos whenever you're ready. And let's see if we have any others. Okay, I just saw one that says, it's a very similar question. So whether or not researcher status is required, we consider just about anyone who wants to make use of our archive a researcher. It's more like your library card to access our collections. And so we keep that information with us just so we know who's making use of us. So you don't need to be an official researcher. You can just be someone who casually wants to view, and we welcome that. And we really appreciate that the public is interested in the collections. So yes, absolutely, it can be accessed for non-research purposes. So let's see, and Aiko put up, thank you, Aiko. Aiko put up another link here to the library guides. And a lot more thank yous. And a comment here from Stacy. Because of the partnership, does the UH Archives make note that the videos are available and vice versa to Ulu Ulu make the connection back to Helen's collection?
Yeah, it's gonna show both ways. So on my LibGuide, I'm going to refer to Ulu Ulu's link, and then Ulu Ulu can refer it back to my collection, and so that you'll know that there are two components of this.
Yeah, and same from the Ulu Ulu side. The project webpage that we've developed has links directly back to the papers at UH Manoa. And so that's how we provide the cross-reference back to the papers. If people find Mitz's collection through us first, we can always recommend that they do further research into his papers at UH Manoa.
I have a question here from Lauren Avery, and it says, where can we send a donation to? I'm not sure if that's in reference to who it's in reference to, but if anyone wants to go ahead and take a stab at for any of you.
Well, as you know, University Archives is one of the most least funded positions, because I'm supposed to be taking care of just the records of the university and its faculty and students. However, I would say that I would imagine that donors should give it to the Mitsuo Aoki Legacy Foundation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Helen, for suggesting that. You know, donations actually can be made on our website at mitsuokilegacyfoundation.org. There's a link there for donations through PayPal, or you can send a check to our address that's also on the website. I also wanted to share back that there will be a 8-session teaching series that I will be doing. That's also on our website, and that will have videos of Mitz actually teaching classes. There's 5 classes that he's teaching, as well as a couple of videos where he's interviewing somebody who is terminally ill. So you're welcome to join that. There's no cost to that. It's going to be on Thursday evenings in April and May. So just go into the website and you can register there. Thank you.
Okay, I have a quick question from Jessica Murby asking if that series will be recorded. So that's for Alan.
It won't be, because there will be discussions back and forth with the participants, which would be confidential. So it won't be recorded. The recordings will be available though on Ulu Ulu eventually. And if you stay in contact with us through our website and through Ulu Ulu, we'll notify you when they become available.
Thank you. Okay, I had a question from Richard Hennessy about whether or not the handwritten notes will be accessible through a search function. And Helen did answer that right now it's not searchable in that fashion. I don't know if you wanted to elaborate at all on that.
Yeah, unfortunately, as you can see, when I got more results when I typed in Buddhism in evolves than I did in our archives catalog. The only way the handwritten notes would be searchable is if we manually typed in everything that he wrote, and we just did not have the time to do that. But I think that when you look at the file names and the descriptions of each, you'll probably get a good idea of which folders you want to open up and investigate.
Thank you. So I think maybe we have only time for one more question, but if no one has any other questions, I do have a comment here that's from Catherine that says that she thinks that the cosmic dancer himself is dancing in the heavenly streets at this incredible collection. So thank you to everyone. I don't see anything else coming in, and I don't see anyone raising their hands here. So I guess I will be handing it over to Alan then.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so I'll share my screen again, Alan, and you can give all of our thank yous and mahalo and close out today's session.
Thank you very much, Janelle. I wanted to show you a short video clip of something that Mitz had said in one of his talks. And I think it's very apropos to what we're doing today. So can you go ahead and show that, Janelle?
Now, when it comes to discussing death and dying, I feel very much like the Zen master. One of his very brilliant students said to him, "Master, you know so many things about life and death, but you never said anything about death. So please tell me and illumine me about death." And the Zen master says, "I don't know nothing." He said, how can that be, Master? You are such a brilliant man. You know so many things. Why don't you know something about death? And he said, "That's because I'm not a dead master yet." And I must confess, though I seem to know a great deal about death, which I really do, I really don't know everything until I die. So when I die, please ask me again. And I'll really give you the real dope there. But I always want to...
Okay, stop it there, Janelle. We just don't have enough time to be able to express all of our gratitude to the various people that have been part of this project. But I'd like to thank you for being here today and being part of our presentation. And we know that his legacy really goes on through the people that he's touched in his life, which are tens of thousands of people. We'd like to thank Helen Wong Smith, and we'll just kind of go through these slides quickly to honor our time. And Heather Juni and the founders of Ulu Ulu, Janelle Kirante and Robbie Omura, the Ulu Ulu staff members, including Tisha, who's also with the Hawaii Council for the Humanities, and Stacy Hoshino, who helped us along the way, and all the board members of HCH who made the grant possible. Dr. Helen Baroni, you did a wonderful job. Thank you so much of really expressing Mitz's legacy so well. Next slide, please. Also, we'd like to thank our donors and supporters of the Mitsuoki Legacy Foundation. It's because of your support that we are able to do this today. And we really are a community that loved and loves Mitz and whose lives he's touched. Also like to thank my fellow board members, Sophiana Oki and Clarence Liu, and Sister Joan Chatfield, who was our previous vice president. We'd also like to thank Mona Woodsword, who is with Ikaika Communications, who has been putting the word out to our community. And thank you so much for all the hard work that you've provided, Mona. Next slide, please. These are the agencies and people that wrote support letters for us, which you can see now on the LibGuide. They've been included. I encourage you to go in and read them. There are amazing testimonies to how important Mitz's work is. So these are all for you to go and look at. Next, please. I'd like to thank Mitz and thank Mitz for his life of service to all of us and for his teaching, his mentorship, and for leaving us this legacy of materials for all of us to explore and to discover. And, you know, Mitz
Mitz left this, and I'm so glad that we were able to make it public and make it available for you. So please go explore it, and I hope that it really continues to touch your life as he's touched so many of our lives in such a deep way. So thank you for being here. Next slide, please. For further information, here are the links to the archives, both archives. Next slide, please. And for further information, you can contact Helen Wong Smith, or you can contact us through the foundation and through our website as well. So thank you very much for being here today. We really appreciate your attendance with us. And we're just so grateful for everybody who's been involved. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. This is such a joy. Thank you.